All right. Hello, everyone. Bernard, hey, good afternoon. Good morning for me. Yeah, I figured I'd do a quick impromptu live stream. The other day, Shift had submitted one of its automated PRs for Laravel packages. It did about 500 packages. You know, some of them it doesn't get right. Jigsaw was one I noticed that it didn't really get right. I use Jigsaw for my blogs, for the blueprint documentation, all that kind of stuff. So I just thought, you know what, it'd be nice to contribute back, go ahead and fix this up manually, and get it submitted. So, you know, hopefully the Titan team can just go ahead and merge it directly in, and Jigsaw will have Laravel 10 support. You know, figured impromptu live stream, kind of show that in action, maybe help somebody learn how to contribute to an open source project. So I'll get back to this PR that was broken before, but first let's kind of get into how to contribute to an open source project, right? So what I'm going to do out here on GitHub, Titan Jigsaw is a public repository. We can see that right here. So I can just hit fork. I may have already had my own fork of it. So yeah, I do already have my own fork, so I'm just going to view existing forks here. And well, that's a very lame interface. So let's go to Jason McCreary and Jigsaw, because that's where it forks anyway. But yeah, I would have just hit fork, and there it is. So I am really far behind here on everything. So it looks like GitHub actually now has this nice little sync fork. So let's just kind of see what happens here. So cool, I can use their interface and go ahead and get this up to date with main. So that's good. So my master is now the same as main. But I like to do stuff from the command line. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and copy the clone URL to my repository, and just like any other project or anything I'm working on from GitHub repo, I'll just kind of pull that down. So I do git clone, paste in that bit there, and now I should be able to go to Jigsaw. And the other thing I'm going to do is do a git remote add, and I like to call it upstream. It's just kind of a conventional name. And the upstream is where I forked from, or the parent repository. And we can see that, of course, the Titan Jigsaw is the parent, but we see it here in GitHub. So I'm going to go back to Titan Jigsaw, and I'm going to copy their clone URL, and I'm going to add it here. And what this does, if I do git remote-v, is it gives me mine, which is the fork, Jason McCreary's version, and then the parent version, Titan's version, as upstream. And what that allows me to do is the same thing we actually did with that sync button. I can say git fetch upstream. It's going to pull down all the information about the upstream origin, or the upstream repository, and I can say git pull upstream, and I think main is the name of their branch. And we're already up to date, because again, I synced that in the GitHub UI. So whatever you use, if you're familiar with it, the whole point here is basically just add that as a remote, so you can fetch and sync with it as needed. So what I want to do here now is do a git checkout -b, now that we know we're all up to date, and just say Laravel 10 compatibility. There we go. All right, cool. And now I want to go back to kind of that original PR. And let me just point out kind of what was wrong with this. So we've got Shift actually came through, and really the issue here is that I'm going to change this, I think, for Laravel 11. But what Shift attempts to do is go in and analyze the repository and at least give it a bump for the next version of Laravel, in this case Laravel 10. The problem is that it tries to sniff out if the repository or if the project or package supports multiple versions. And in this case, if we scroll down, we'll see that technically they didn't support multiple versions. They only supported Laravel 9. So Shift interprets that and says, okay, well, now you just want to support 10. because you only were supporting the latest version before. If this would have been like 6, 7, 8, you know, all that kind of stuff, or 6 or 7 or 8 or greater than 6 or anything like that, a different constraint that demonstrated it supported multiple versions, then I think Shift would have done a much better job with this. But as it stands, it kind of just bumped everything to 10, which is probably not what Titan wants. In fact, I think they told me that in the comments. So again, we're going to do this one manually. So let's, it's pretty straightforward changes. I'm just going to jump into Atom here, and we'll just do it all in here because we're really just going to kind of copy and paste some of the original stuff. So first things first, let's get into Composer.json, and now it's just a matter of kind of making those changes. And in this case, they're going to support 8.0.2, but less than 8.4, which, you know, doesn't even exist yet, but whatever. So we're going to do caret 9.0. What we could do is we could be like super compatible, and we could say like greater than or equal to 9. I don't think that's the way most people write their constraints. I think the way most people write their constraints would be something like this, where it's, you know, 9 or, you know, the next version. So in this case, 10.0. Now it looks like they actually have a precedent down here for using this OR operator. So let's make sure we kind of follow that convention. So basically what we're going to say here is anywhere they're using one of these illuminates, we can kind of go in and tweak that to now be this OR 10. So just a little fancy IDE magic there. So 9 or 10 on all of Illuminate's stuff. Now it's a matter of making sure that some of these other things are compatible as well. So Nuno's collision, let's see if it bumped anything else. It bumped this to 2.0, 2.0. It bumped Nuno to 6.1, and it bumped Spatie to 2. Okay, so probably what we want to do here is Nuno can safely go to that. It's just a point release. I think these we're going to want to OR with 2.0 because they might be the Laravel 10 versions. So again, really what I'm doing is looking at what Shift did, trusting it, and kind of bumping these to be the OR compatible versions for this OR 2. So same with Spatie's. It's interesting to me because I don't think Laravel 9 supported Symfony down around 5. So that's a little interesting. Let's go check this. Laravel framework. It's not really Laravel framework. It would be Illuminate Collective. Why does it do that? Good old browser. Let's see here. GitHub Illuminate Collective. No. Collections. Sorry. Collective is a combination of the Laravel Collective. There we go. I just want to see, for example, if we jump into Composer, like what does this have? This doesn't have any direct dependencies on Symfony. What about one of these other ones, like File System? These aren't really legit. Let's go to 9. There we go. Symfony Finder greater than 6.0. I know that Laravel, what I'm looking at here is I know that Laravel 9 had a requirement of Symfony 6.0 or higher, because the whole reason Laravel 9 was delayed was to wait for Symfony 6. So part of me is thinking now with 10 to probably not use lower versions of these, because you probably would have had an incompatibility anyway. But I don't know the implications of that, to be honest. I do know Symfony Finder, but they're not necessarily. Here's Finder. So this already would have been contradictory. So again, that one's safe to change as I have, but I don't know about the console and all these other ones, so that might not be an issue. And then dev requirements shouldn't conflict whatsoever. I'm going to leave those alone. So what I want to do here is just kind of give this a check by saying composer update. I'm running PHP 8.2 locally here, so as long as these install, I'm comfortable that they install, for, again, my latest version. And if we go and kind of look at one of the illuminates, we still should be pulling 9.0 because 10 probably isn't tagged for these yet. The way to kind of force this, I'm just thinking out loud here, is this 10 tagged yet? Let's find out. If we go to file system and we look at releases, do we have a tag for 10? No, we don't. So there isn't a 10.x tag yet, and the problem is, master has like future stuff. I'm just trying to think. What I'd like to do is test this. Well, you know what? GitHub Actions is going to test this for me, so I don't need to mess with all this. Let's bring back my editor here, and let's get into this. So I don't think we need to mess with that. I don't think we need to mess with any formatting. We're not even touching any PHP files, so that should be no problem. Test is where, it had kind of messed up before. So what we want to do now is we probably want to update this matrix to do some interesting things. Let's see what happened out there live. Let's see what happened. What did we change here? So we jumped to 8.1 there, so that's kind of unnecessary. What would be nice is if, so we don't want to change that. We did change all of Illuminate, Spatie, blah, blah, blah. We bumped up CS Fixer, not necessarily required. And technically we bumped up Mockery and PHP Unit, but again, that's a local dependency, so that's not required. And then there actually was a nice little fix there in the formatting, so let's pick that up, why not? So I guess my point here is that I'm actually not gonna change, I'm not gonna change any of that. All right, so let's do git add-p, yes, yes, okay, git commit -m, support Laravel 10, or bump, let's say bump dependencies, or add support for Laravel 10. All right, git push origin head. So again, getting back to kind of what we're talking about as far as contributing, now I'm going to push to my remote. I don't have permission. I'm not a contributor or on the Titan team, so I won't be able to push directly to upstream. So this is kind of that PR process. So nice, helpful in the comments here, I could actually just click this to make a new PR. But if we go back out to my repo, what you'll see is, again, GitHub being helpful. Here's another link to get to that pull request. So I can just compare and send a pull request. And what you want to check for here is really just to make sure of a couple things. So first of all, I'm going to go back to this here in a second, but you definitely want a clear title. GitHub's automatically going to pull your first commit message. So that's fine in this case. I'm going to add some information here, and you want to make sure this is checked, right? Otherwise, it makes it really hard for maintainers to, edit your PR. They basically have to create a fork of your branch, right, and copy all the files down and then reopen the PR, and it's really nasty. This makes it a lot easier. So do make sure that is checked. And then finally, make sure that only your commits are showing up here. Make sure that you haven't done anything weird in Git where you pulled the wrong stuff or you're targeting the wrong branch or anything of that nature. You should only see your commits here. If you're seeing other commits from Laravel or other commits from the project, if you're seeing merge commits in there in the titles, you've done something wrong. So clean that up before you submit it. And as a total fail-safe, review your stuff one more time, not only just from a, hey, make sure you got your changes right and everything looks good, but again, also to make sure weird things that you didn't even mean to change are included here. So in this case, only the composer JSON file, and these changes appear correct to me. So, okay, so final thing, again, you just want to be a little bit clear in like what's going on here. So, here's let's make sure we kind of say something pretty nice here. So we'll say this supersedes this one, right? So let's say number 676 apparently. All right, and GitHub actually would do that for me, but I like writing some Markdown. And it looks like I spelled supersedes incorrectly. Oh, S, not C. So this supersedes that by ensuring both Laravel 9 and Laravel 10 are supported. In addition, it sets the minimum requirement for Symfony dependencies to caret 6.0, as that is the minimum requirement by Laravel 9, as that was the minimum requirement, and let's get dependencies right. Okay, so again, just kind of, you want to put good information in here, and in fact, I like kind of separating this stuff, giving it line breaks. You know, you want to make it scannable. Anything you can do to make it easier on the maintainer of the package to kind of quickly scan this, see what's going on, look at the files. Nice, you know, nice information, not too much information, but also not no information, right? You want to like, I don't just want to say this. A lot of people will just say, you know, better than 676. Well, what did 676 do, right? Like, you know, that's what I'm doing. I'm adding support for Laravel 10, and why is this better, right? Why does it supersede it? Okay, I answered that question in a nice, terse way. And then I also pointed out an additional change that I thought was necessary, which again, they might have seen it in the file diff, but it's good to kind of point out that I'm doing an additional thing here. Okay, so let's go from there. Update my Chrome, please. Oh, yes. It's so funny. One time I was like I was doing like a live demo for something, and I was talking about the importance of upgrading, and Chrome's just like sitting there red, like, upgrade. It was kind of funny. It was just one of those like inside things. Can't you just compare to the previous PR? I don't know what you mean compare to the previous PR. Okay, so here's the first issue and why I think we're going to have to update the matrix. Let's see what other checks fail, but let's see why these are failing. Did they just get killed, or are they failing because of the dependencies? I definitely know that when you pull the highest, 8.0 is not going to work, because what that's going to do is get Laravel 10, and it's not going to. Laravel 10 is minimally compatible with 8.1, so we're going to need to tweak that GitHub matrix to do a little bit better of a job of like when it's doing the combinations, right? Yeah. So how can we, well, first of all, let's see why this is failing. The lowest shouldn't fail in my opinion, so let's see why. Okay, declaration of Titan Jigsaw parse must be compatible with parse. So what are Ramsey Composer install? What are our bits here? It's interesting that options resolver came across as 5.4 when we have 6 in our stuff. Anyway, maybe it's a underlying dependency, no big deal. What I'm trying to see is, this is definitely an incompatibility, but why is it failing for us, if we didn't bump the markdown parser ourselves. All right, let's see what else is failing. They're all failing because of this mini markdown bit, which I didn't change directly, did I? Let's find out. Did I change this myself? I did. I said 1.5 or 2.0. It's interesting that lowest is failing to me, because if lowest is set up correctly, then lowest should have got 1.5, and we shouldn't see that error, right? Because I didn't change anything. Highest I would understand, because if we look in here, my guess would be that the mini parser got, 2.0 or whatever. Where is this? Let's find parser. Or not, it's not parser, is it? What is that thing called? It's called Markdown. Where is that? It's not even on this page. What are you talking about? Where is our other bit here? That's interesting. Cache not found. That's correct. I'm not seeing this particular package in the download list, which is strange. Or am I just, oh, because I've got a weird, sorry, my bit was in the way. Okay, so this pulled 2.0. That makes sense. Why would lowest pull 2.0 though? I just want to see if lowest pulled 2.0, because that's what seems to have happened. Yeah, see? I would have expected lowest to give us 1.5, and it didn't. What I'm worried about is if I go and update the signature, will truly an old version pick that up? Let's take a look at this GitHub Actions workflow just one more time. Matrix dependencies lowest, highest, okay. And then we have this with dependency version. Okay, so this Ramsey Composer install, that's Ben's little GitHub action, and it seems to use this. What's interesting to me, again though, is that it didn't pull the lowest of this package. It only ever pulled 2, and maybe there's a reason for that, so let's find out. So, Composer. So here we said 6.0. Oh, I bet you the issue now is because we're pulling 6, it's always forcing us to do, that's what's happening. 2.0 switches to common mark, which is a much better mark. Parse down is no longer installed. Version 2 also required. Okay, so that's good. Support for PHP 8, good. I'm just seeing what the difference was in 5. Compatibility with 3. So 1.5 is so old. Okay, so here's what I'm seeing. What I'm seeing is we have to bump this to 2.0, meaning we now need to force that additional type hint, which should be okay because this project is running PHP 8. So let's fix that. Let's fix this error. So this is a legitimate error because now, because of our bump to Symfony 6, it's not necessarily Laravel that's causing, or the Illuminate package that's causing the issue. The issue is that it's causing, the issue is this package because of the Symfony 6 requirement. So let's go jump down into Markdown Parser, line 26, and get this fixed. Let's go to line 26. Here it is. And what they're saying is that parse should match the new type hinted signature. So this is string and string, right? And if we actually just go look at this front matter thing, let's just see if there's any other errors that we're going to end up seeing here. So let's just go take a peek. That's not actually in there. Oh, sorry. That is an alias, so it's this. Let's just see what else. So the interface, it's just an interface. Okay, we're good. So we match the interface now. That's why it was being enforced. Okay, so now we can clean this up, and this is a chance to leave a good commit message where we just say add type hint for updated interface. Good enough. All right, so we'll push that up to head, which GitHub will automatically figure that out here, and it should start rerunning these. All right, and it is. So hopefully these should all pass, but I still think there could be an issue with PHP 8 because of, again, Laravel 10 or Illuminate 10 stuff. I'd really like to test this. Ooh, what's our problem with the format there? Did I mess that up? Markdown parser, string. What, are type hints not allowed or something in their format? Let's find out. Branch or tag with Laravel 10 compatibility could not be found. Okay. Interesting. We'll ignore that for the time being. Hey, awesome. Our tests are passing, except for 3, which makes sense because it's not even real. I don't know why they have that in here, to be honest. Like, that's strange. Let's see if I can rerun this. I can't because I don't own the repo. It's really strange. Why is 8.3 even in here? Is 8.3 real? Like, is it even being worked on? When's it slated? Yeah, see, it's not even noted here in any kind of like tagging. I'm just gonna get rid of this. This is kind of stupid. I'm hearing some chat. Let's see if people know why. In your previous PR, you also had other dependencies bumped up. Yeah, we took care of that. Will in general Composer Y help you with this dependencies, or are you limited with 8.2 version? I'm not sure what you're asking, Typer. Anyway, I'm gonna get rid of this 8.3. This is, I don't know, this is kind of dumb in my mind. It's not even, I get like kind of being like forward compatible, but it's not even existent, and they're trying to do things that like get around the fact that errors, but you always have a broken build. Like, I don't know. There's not a lot of value in that, in my opinion. Remove unreleased PHP version. That's not even real. All right, let's see if we can get to green here. Let's see if that format thing goes away too. I'm just curious, if you go back and look at these pull requests, how are these other ones passing? Oh, they're old. Okay, that's why. Do they have a recent build that last week, it merged last week? Okay. Supposedly this passed. Yeah, it's weird. How did this pass? Am I crazy? Is 8.3 out? 8.3's not out. They just released 8.2. How is this pulling down? Maybe Ramsey's package like has something special about 8.3? Install PHP 8.3.dev. I mean, it is forward-looking. Again, I like the aspect that it's forward-looking, but why are we failing? And why is format still failing? Run action. A branch or tag with name Laravel 10 compatibility. Yeah. Well, I probably don't want to remove it then. It's just strange that... Are we failing because of the dependencies? I guess I should have looked at that. Okay, let's get reset -- hard head ~1. So let's get rid of that and get push origin head -f. I'm just going to force push over top of that because it was an incorrect change anyways. And this is my PR, and I can do what I want. All right, let's try this again and see. I'm not going to worry about format. I think that's going to fail regardless because this branch doesn't exist on their origin. So that's actually just a incorrect setup on their part. I just want to see why PHP 8.3 is crapping out. Is it because of the dependency bumps that I made? And if so, then maybe there's a way I can clean that up. But if not, then, you know, I don't know. So we are passing everything else, which is good. Let's see 8.3 again. I expect this to fail, but I just want to take this time, instead of jumping the gun, I want to take a closer look at why we're failing. And my guess is because some kind of dependency thing may be crapping out. So maybe we can fix that. Yeah, there it is. Okay, your requirements could not be resolved. Is there a way? Yeah, see, they have less than 8.3. Did we bump up? Oh, we bumped this guy. Yes, we did. Okay. Yeah. So it looks like back to the old package we were just kind of messing with. Let's see if they did something funky here. No, they have the caret. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong. That's master. We're technically... No? Why is 2.0? Is it league common mark? Is that what that said? League config requires... Yeah, that's strange. See, here's less than 8.3. It seems like for some reason, again, because of the bump to 6, Symfony 6, we're getting a higher version of this, which underneath requires this league package, which I bet you underneath requires that config package. Oh, it's like the PHP league or some crap. Yeah, there it is. So I bet you underneath the covers, and again, Composer Y would tell us this, but yeah, there's that league config, which is probably config. If we look at this, they have this scheme, which is a separate package. I'm just playing this out the long way just to kind of prove the point. And there it is. Yeah. For whatever reason, I guess an earlier version of this, yeah, see, they released that. So my guess is if we look at the history of this file, somebody, yeah, 2 weeks ago, somebody bumped this. Somebody added that at some point, probably recently, and now that we're requiring a higher version, yeah, see, here it is. I bet you one of these added that less than. There it is. Yeah. I'm surprised it wasn't failing before, but I guess it, you know, I guess what happened was Composer took it far enough back, because again, we were going back 2 years ago, 4 years ago, I think, even on that original package, that this is now kind of crapping out. So I think I'll make a note of it in the PR because, again, that took us a minute to kind of track down. The failing test or the failing build for PHP 8.3 is because of the bump in what is that package that we bumped? This Monopoly front YAML. All right, so the bump in that to be compatible with Symfony 6, its underlying package, we can say one of its underlying dependencies has a less than 8.3 PHP requirement. Since 8.3 is not officially released yet, I am not going to worry about this as it should resolve itself in time. However, you may want to remove the 8.3, you may want to remove PHP 8.3 from the matrix build until then. All right, let's fix our typo here. All right, and with that, we are done. I wish everything was green. I feel like we know why 8.3 is not green now. That's okay. Again, ideally, when you're submitting or contributing to open source, everything here would be green. But there is a reason for this, which would be solved. But I don't know if they want to remove it from the build or if they want to spend some time reaching out to this package to, tack on 8.3 support. I don't know. I don't know what the kind of best approach there is. So we'll leave it up to them. Again, I think it could be removed, and I feel pretty confident based on the fact that it's complaining about this Laravel 10 thing is because it's trying to pull from origin, and technically that branch, as we can see from the PR, is on my fork. It is not available on origin, which is Titan. So that's why that's failing. So this is out there. We'll see what they do with it, but it's much cleaner as far as the changes to support 9 and 10 and give it that proper bump to Symfony. So do they have tests that actually run? I think they do, right? If we look at the checks. Yeah, they do have tests. So these are running and the jobs are passing, right? Here we go. Yeah, everything's running. So they got their test suite passing, so this should be compatible. Again, the only issue is 8.3, but because it's not officially released, I don't think that should prevent this from being merged personally, but that will be up to Titan. So anyway, thanks everybody for joining the impromptu live stream. Hopefully that was helpful to kind of see everything in action and how you might go about contributing to open source projects. So see you next time.